Before Vince McMahon resigned from the land, he fired a bunch of wrestlers and a guy that his son-in-law really trusted, like someone that recruited a bunch of great people. His name was William Regal, and he was lost, didn't know what to do, and then TK got on the phone and said, hey, you don't have to wrestle 'cause you can't, I'll give you a bunch of money, just come start the Blackpool Comedy Club. Oh wait, that's not what it actually is. It's supposed to be a combat club, but we've got a bunch of comedy wrestlers. Get some people together like Danielson, Moxley, Claudio, and Utah, and just do what you do best. Just be William Regal. And then he hit on the man in the mask, compared him to food he wanted to ingest. But then he saw that Triple H took over for crazy Vince McMahon and said, I really like that guy. Hey, Tony Khan, I'd like to go home now, but I'll still be one of your people. But now, goodbye to William Regal. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Indianapolis, Indiana, and hope you all enjoyed William Regal being on AEW programming, because I'm pretty certain that's a way to write him off. I don't know how long his contract runs, but maybe... Hey, he did what he could. He did his best. He wanted to devour man in a mask, and after turning heel, that's it. I really don't know how you have a guy come back after multiple neck surgeries, multiple injuries, drug issues that he overcame, including alcohol issues, and lesions on the brain, and have him come back and do anything. That's just the perfect way to write him off, and it makes absolute sense. And boy, the show was pretty much clicking along for a while. Actually, this was one of the most cohesive and cohesive. In fact, I'll just invent new words. Episodes of AEW programming in quite a while. Went off the rails on a crazy train at the end, but nevertheless, some positives for the show. Excalibur, Taz, and Shivani on commentary. Wild Thing. Why was he twitching? You give him everything. Hey, I don't know why he was twitching around, but well, he grew up 90 miles from here in Cincinnati. WKRP in Cincinnati, my God, God is my witness, I thought turkeys could fly. God, I remember doing a review for the Cincinnati episode and trying to do an intro to the WKRP in Cincinnati theme, and I can't tell you how hard that was. That was really hard. A particular friend of mine, challenged me to do it. So nevertheless, let's talk about something other than WKRP in Cincinnati. This ring belongs to him, and no one can tell him different. And then here's Hangman Adam Page, who's been gone for a while. And then Mox antagonized the Hangman too much, and they brawled. They kept brawling. Instantly, security and referees were there. Cowboy shit, cowboy shit, cowboy shit. Don't know if I would necessarily be afraid of a guy wearing that shirt, but you know what? Hangman got a pretty good pop. I don't know how long it's going to last, because he was getting kind of booed out of the building for the most part, but nevertheless... The card rundown, and both Dax and Danielson get some good pops. And then Danielson and Dax have a really good TV match where the crowd popped at the bell, and this was great wrestling. This is the kind of shit I like to see on AEW programming. This was one of the best TV matches they've done all year. And look, it involves one of the premier workers still going today, in Bryan Danielson, and one of the best tag team and singles wrestlers going today, Dax Harwood. It's a shame that Cash is not seen as a great singles wrestler, because he is tremendous as well, but Dax has been doing his absolute best. He's been doing some great stuff. FTR, the best tag team in the world. You can fight me in the comments if you want. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying you're wrong unless you say it's a Bucks, and then I'm going to question. But again, you're entitled to your opinion. But I want to say really, really quickly, by the way, to the person that said support trans kids, trans rights, or human rights. To the person who held that sign, I salute you. And that shirt is right there. And if you want to be transphobic in the comments, fuck you. Fuck off. Seriously. Seriously. Nobody wants to hear that kind of bigotry. You can have that opinion. You can absolutely have that opinion. I'm going to know how you view other people just based on how you view them. But nevertheless, let people be who they are. And quite frankly, if we're going to just let people be who they are, that's it. It's a great sign. Very good sign. I swear that I've seen that fan at other shows, but you know what? That was really cool. Anyway, they laid their chops in, their shots in. There were some stiff, chops in the corner, staring up at the spotlight. And they just let him go all out. This is what AEW does. Well, this was good shit. Pile driver just for a 2 count. I would have liked if they took just a couple seconds longer for that, because the way they implement moves like that, I wish that, the pile driver is maybe used as a finish, but nevertheless, can't go back on everything. Clubbing shots, a slingshot bomb for 2, a sharpshooter, but a roll through, and then the bell lock gets the victory. Show respect afterwards. Looked like Dax wasn't so sure he wanted to do that, but you know what? Nevertheless, good shit. Really, really good shit. Rob fucking Bo, great stuff. And then we go Shivani with Starks, who will be in the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. And he's going to win that. He's going to win the Battle Royal. Even though MJF's had the Dynamite Diamond Ring for the last 3 years. So anyway, back to Hangman and Mox. Hangman was being escorted out by security, and Mox literally comes from the side and says, "Ha-ha, boom, boom, boom." And then Hangman sends Moxley into the huge garage door. That's adorable. And that's it. They just keep brawling. I assume they brawled into their rental cars and were just punching each other at lights, because one apparently got a car from Britain and was able to just say, "Hey, Mox, boom, 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 boom." Not asking, "Do you have any Grey Poupon? Do you have any Grey Poupon?" Pow! Anyway, so Renee is with Claudio, Yuta, Hager. Why is Jake Hager on any television screen in 2022? Nobody likes Jake Hager. Nobody wants Jake Hager to be there, except the Insurrection God himself, Chris Jericho, who was miraculously absent from this show. And he also has a stupid hat and stupid Zubas. The Road Warriors could pull off wearing Zubas. The Steiners could pull off wearing Zubas. Swagger, that might as well be what his name is. He lacks swagger. It's funny that the man was named Jack Swagger and has always lacked it. This is something about Claudio having to join the Jericho Appreciation Society, the Jassholes, as it were, if he loses at Death Before Dishonor. Or was it Final Battle? It's Final Battle. It's Final Battle. There's so much program. I'm not going to watch that. I'm not going to watch that pay-per-view. I don't have the time, guys. I don't have the time. I don't care. I wish nothing but the best. I hope Ring of Honor can get some kind of TV deal, or slot him in one of the YouTube, slots that they have. Maybe cut out Dark or Dark Elevation and just have Ring of Honor recorded and put on YouTube until you can find a TV deal. Who knows? Anyway, then we get Samoa Joe versus AR Fox. Okay, AR Fox has some good hops. AR hops, as it were. A TNT championship match, and Joe is still so good. AR Fox does gain some good shots, tries for a dive. Joe just does the walk away like he always does, and hits the muscle buster 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Gets on the mic and says he is one true king of television. Wardlow shows up on screen. The fans eventually chant Wardlow, but they have completely neutralized and neutered Wardlow. And I feel bad because I like Wardlow. This is Wardlow's world. And I like Wardlow, but I fear that they don't really know what to do with him. They have too many damn people signed. We cut to Hobbs on the Oakland streets. This was a lot shorter than the previous pre-tape that they did last week. And that one wasn't all that long, but this was like, okay, why did we go with that? Did we cut it short? What happened? So far, despite the fact that they allowed Jake Hager to talk on television, which should be an automatic disqualification from being, called a reputable wrestling company, no company should ever do that. This actually was somewhat cooking. It was fine. Then recaps of the last win by Hook. And then we go to Regal showing up to introduce MJF, who's just soaking it all in. We get shut the fuck up chants. How uncouth. And MJF's soaking it in. There's a new championship that's being brought out, and it's just really cool because it signifies him, its change and everything. Even though the people were talented in their own way, he wants his own championship because he's going to be champion for a very long time. He says Eddie Kingston will never be champion, Starks will never be champion, Danielson will never be champion, nobody will be champion until the bidding war 2024 when he leverages the belt to get the biggest contract. I'm going to say right now that if both companies don't offer him at least $1.5 million a year. I'm just going to throw that number out right there. You offer him $1.5 million a year, and you're probably going to get him, at least. But I would do 1.5, then $2 million the next year, and then MJF is invaluable to any company. He gets it. He is exactly what he purports to be, and this is great shit. And I also saw exactly where it was going. One funny line, I knew exactly how this thing was going to end. I mean, they sold it really well, but you knew what was coming. He says, I pray that the right con foots the bill. And I'm not talking about Tony. I'm talking about jolly old St. Nick and my best friend, Trips. He hasn't done this in a while. Now, he was doing it a little bit too much, and it got to where it was getting a little bit forced. But now he's doing it because now he has leverage. He's the champion. People are going to have to part with their hard-earned money to see him. He's not going to wrestle on TV as much. What I think is going to happen, he's going to have 2 TV matches within a month, and then we're not going to see him on TV as much. We're going to hear from him, and we're going to hear him on commentary. We're going to see him in the Skybox, but they're going to limit his TV appearances, or at least his wrestling appearances, because the world champion shouldn't wrestle unless you actually want to have a hot feud, even if it's for a short bit. He says, and you fans will continue to tune in to see who's going to beat me, but nobody will be able to, because he was just sinking his teeth into this. And he talks about his reign of terror, more shut the fuck up chance, and he's got the knucks. And he said, Regal, what you told me is that I need to make sure that he said this a little earlier, that I don't need the diamond ring, I need to grab the brass ring. And it was obvious where it was going. He had the knucks. The instant he pulled the knucks out and did not, have them out like this, and he had them like this, it was obvious what he was going to do. But it was great because he just went right behind Regal. You made a deal with the devil, and look where it got you. Referred to the email, called Regal out, stepped on, basically did everything except actually piss on him on live television. It was great. Doctors run out. MJF leaves through the crowd. Danielson runs down because that man is like a father to him, and they do a stretcher job. They go to the ambulance. Danielson gets in. This is what it's going to lead to. MJF is going to beat Ricky Starks, and winter is coming. That's just what's going to happen. That's nothing against Ricky Starks. I would love to see Ricky Starks as world champion, but it's not time. Danielson is going to challenge him right after that. Or maybe Danielson's going to enter the Dynamite Battle Royal, even though Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal, even though I think all the participants are announced. And he'll win it, and then he'll call his shot, and he'll face off against MJF on the first Dynamite of 2023, which is in Seattle, which, for those that either aren't familiar with Washington State or those that live in Washington State but aren't geography majors, close to Aberdeen. Close to Aberdeen if you want to drive a while, but nobody really wants to go to Aberdeen. I'm sorry if you live in Aberdeen, it's a shit city. I live in a shit city. Actually, outside of a shit city. And I know all about it. But anyway, that's where they would do it. And MJF beating Danielson in his hometown is exactly what they need to do. I'll love it. I'll be in for it. It's going to be great. Barring like a foot of snow, people are going to pack the Climate Pledge Arena and watch Danielson versus MJF. It's going to be great. They have to do it there. They have to do it there because unless they want to piss off the fans and have Danielson go to Wrestle Kingdom that day, it's going to be Danielson versus MJF. That's what I'm going with. And then we have Stokely stopping Matt Hardy from doing his delete stuff because Matt Hardy and Private Party are owned by the firm. Yes, they own the contracts of 1 washed-up guy and 2 black men. I'm not going to say it. Also, I'm sorry, it's hard to take Stokely seriously when he can barely clear a goddamn yardstick. And I mean, if you stand a yardstick up or whatever, he barely measures over the top of it. Look, Ethan is a decent talker. It is hard to take him seriously in that shirt. And Starks immediately beats Ari Daivari. I mean, beats him flat. This is all about winning the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royal. Shivani's with Hayter, Britt, and Rebel, and next week there's going to be a sit-down with Hayter. I would like Jamie to just slam me down. Never mind, moving on from that. Willow Nightingale took on Anna Jay with Ty Conte. And man, remember when Anna Jay could have been something, then they associated her with Jericho and it's gone to shit? Yeah, that's unfortunate. She's young, she'll get better. Willow Nightingale, though, I may have found a new favorite. In hindsight, I probably should have waited to do my favorite wrestlers of the year, because I totally forgot to put her in the honorable mentions, because Willow Nightingale is very, very good. Has definitely risen up the ranks just on AEW programming in general. Made a name for herself in the past couple of years. Has the energy, has the strength, has the pizzazz, and can't wait to see what 2023 brings for her. She hits a Dr. Bomb 1, 2, 3. Ty Conte has no business being on wrestling television anymore, but then Destination Unknown Ruby Soho is back. So she attacks and lays out Ty Hayner on the stage. You would think that Ty Conte would be used to getting it in the face. So anyway, enough. I would treat Ty with more respect if she actually had respect for women, that she competes against, instead of injuring them, and actually wasn't an overall bitch. So anyway, nevertheless, recaps of the House of Black returning. Then Shivani's with Orange Cassidy and QT Marshall. It's a lumberjack match on Rampage. Oh boy, great, good. This is exactly what television needs. You want to help the Rampage ratings? Cascade down? Do that. TBS celebration with Jade Cargill and Layla Gray in Red Velvet. There's confetti in her hair. She's dressed like money because she's green like money. She's also green like she shouldn't be wrestling. Nevertheless, she has a great look. Everyone is eating off of her was a line that was said. Okay, you know what? Never mind. I don't really know how to interpret that. There were more plants, aka baddies, in the crowd. I should think plants might have had more life to them, but nevertheless. Okay. So basically, she says, you're either with me or against me. Why is Lil Bow Wow on a wrestling program? Why is this continuing? Why did we immediately go to WCW 2000? Rampage, QT versus Cassidy in a lumberjack match. Darby gets his revenge on Cole Carter for something that I actually totally forgot about. Renee is with Saraya, Private Party versus Lethal and Jarrett, and then Swerve in Our Glory talk. And the Acclaim then do a drill instructor thing with Billy drilling them. With words, I mean. Daddy ass drilling them. I can't believe I said that with a straight face. And Billy Gunn has been around since World War II, so it kind of makes sense how he got this drill instructor thing down. I kid. Billy's having a blast with this. And it was weird, but you know what? They made it as entertaining as they could. All right. And then the graphics are moving too slow for Excalibur, because Excalibur just kept getting ahead of them. There is nothing wayward about the Elite except their lack of wrestling ability. Their wrestling ability went over there. Death Triangle, Pac, Phoenix, and Penta with Alex Abrahantes taking on the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Insufferbucks, with Cutler, Nakamura, he wishes he was Nakamura, Nakazawa, and Don NDA Callis. It's match 3 in a best of 7, and Rick Knox is the worst goddamn referee I have ever seen in a wrestling ring. Good God, I'm sure he's a nice guy. He's been around since about the 17th century from the looks of it. And one of the Bucks pinned Pac. Does it matter? No. They brawled for about 10 minutes before the match started. They got in the ring, and it wouldn't have mattered if the bell had rang, because Rick Knox never enforces the goddamn rules, because he doesn't even know what rules are. He hasn't been able to interpret anything properly since the Eisenhower administration, and actually, Eisenhower would look better than him, and Eisenhower has been dead for years. If there are people that like this, fine, but this was a stupid main event. This is 3 talented wrestlers and the Elite. They're jokes. They're always going to be jokes. The guy that Okada made and 2 joke guys that can barely goddamn move. They can try to wrestle when they want, but they rarely do because they want to just throw goddamn tantrums. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's 2-1 Death Triangle. I'm just glad this will not be happening at the Dynamite in Seattle, because good God, it would have been insufferable to see that. This is also going all 7. Because of course it's gonna, because they gotta try and kill the goddamn LA town. Anyway, nevertheless, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.